What's happening, guys? We're back again. I mean, I don't know how common this fault is, but Jesus Christ, you got an Ecotec on the service, tighten up the plate heat exchanger screws. I don't know why, but they just seem to start pissing out. And if so, it's on this right hand side. So that was a heavily leaking boiler. Took me a bit to see where it's coming from, because obviously the boiler's bloody flooded. Thankfully the PCB wasn't took out, because obviously got like the little drip trays on this valence, so that worked out good. But yeah, just a little tighten up. So yeah, just watch out for that one. I'd actually go as far as saying, when you're servicing one, just check them two screws. The left hand side was solid. The right bottom one, very, very loose. Almost looks like a person bloody unintentionally had it loosened off, but I know they haven't. So yeah, look out for the screws on them ones. God knows why it happens. Possibly it's near the pump and it all just kind of bloody has it vibrate and go loose. This one was a service. Again, any valent, check your air inlet, because I guarantee you it'll probably be a leak. Looks like a bit should probably be deleted out of the video. Oh no, this was. I got sent out to put a new switch live to the boiler. Apparently another guy said it had no switch live to it. Electrician came out, put a switch live to it. I then connected up the electrician's wire. Turned the fucker on, it didn't bloody light, did it? So I basically put a hairdryer on the fan. I did actually think that I recorded it all, but I didn't really record it too much, unfortunately. When I look back at it, I was just like, for fuck's sake, it's the only bloody fan out in the wild about it, like heated up and made work. And my recording was absolute shit. So yeah, customers says the bathroom stinks of crap. They're not quite sure why it is, but it just smells like it's like a dead mouse or a dead rat in there or something. And I know it's a little weep under there. So straight away I was thinking it's probably the 1.5 inch going in at the 4 inch reducer. But then I thought, no, it's probably more in the 4 inch. And I was looking at it, I thought, there isn't really like any kind of glue there. You know, most of the time you get a bit of excess glue, don't you? You fucking paste the shit on. And I twisted it like that with a screwdriver and I thought, this ain't glued. Now the best bit about this job is, I did this, and they also actually had like a leak outside externally on their stack as well. And it was a fitting that looked like it come loose, which was a glued fitting. And anyway, the next day I took it all apart, the fucker wasn't glued either. But a bit further up it was. So I'm hoping the guy just basically ran out of glue, as opposed to he didn't know he bloody put glue in the fittings. So yeah, the access was a bit tight because it was all kind of like a panelled wood type bathroom, and this panel here was more for access. But I took out more panels, it was just going to bloody destroy their bathroom. Good old £55 ratchet cutter. I would say do not fucking buy. 1, because it's too bloody bulky. 2, because you need to be able to swing it around to get a cut on a bit of pipe, so it's not really good for any kind of, you know, access areas. And 3, it's fucking shit. It's blunt as anything. I mean, this thing will snap pipes. I remember the first day I bought it, and I went round to a waste. It was just kind of, it was just kind of, you know, it was kind of coming out the wall by about 2 inches. And I went to cut it, and because the waste pipe was old and the tool is just shit overall, it fucking cracked the pipe straight through the bloody wall. It just basically put me in a world of shit. And if I had a hacksaw, that would never ever have happened. Now here in hindsight, I should have just done 1 cut and moved the waste and wiggled that 4 inch fitting out. But I decided I needed 2 cuts there to get it out. So we're going to cut that little bit out now, and I'm just going to try and prise it out. So I mean, half me just kind of thinking, honestly, I've not glued it. But you know, the other side of everything is an easy mistake to make. You know, if you don't glue something or you don't solder something, you know, if it doesn't piss out water straight away, it's actually quite easy to miss.
They've never glued it.
So, you know, it's just one of them bloody things, really. Wasn't sure about the offset being a little bit lower though. All kinds do right. Should have been bang at the top, because obviously it just shows, doesn't it, how flat the waist is. That as it hits that T-piece. I mean, jobs like this are actually quite nice to see how like the waist flows away. I mean, you can obviously see as it hits that T-piece, 20% of it fucking takes a right-hand turn. Obviously, don't put it in the bath. So now I was just thinking it can't be that easy. It must have been glued a little bit or something. So I was trying to look down it.
A bit of glue.
Did look like a little bit of glue. I thought maybe they'd put glue on it. I haven't quite made my mind up yet. Whether some kind of reason the glue gone bad. But yeah, it wasn't glued. So this is the boiler case. So they've got 2 boilers in this house. That's just me trying to show off my little chamfered pipe edge here. But they've got 2 boilers in this house. It doesn't need 2 boilers. It's like a townhouse with like a slave bit downstairs. They've got a combi downstairs feeding 2 rooms and a bathroom. And they've got an RI upstairs with a cylinder feeding again 2 rooms and a bathroom. But for some reason they've got a 24 litre expansion vessel and a heating system that's got literally 4 bloody radiators. And because it's 24 litres, you can't get the bloody case off the boiler. So that's me getting this thing that kitted out. Can't believe we had the washer the wrong way around from the start, so that's something to look out for. Now the plan here was to get like a slip coupling, but I couldn't bloody buy one. So what I've done, I've got a compression coupling, and I've actually drilled out the inside with a hole saw. Obviously you could use a file, but I just use a hole saw. I've also used this on the normal type of couplings as well. I just get a hole saw and I just have the fucker drilled out. I don't think it makes it inherently weaker. I wouldn't do it on 4-inch pipe, because obviously on 4-inch pipe you're gonna have tissue paper going down there, and you don't want it to be rough. So if you did it on a 4-inch pipe just for any kind of reason that you need to do it, it's gonna basically just make it really, really rough. Tissue would stick to it. But on a waste pipe, it's not a real problem really. So yeah, this is me like happy as Larry, fucking super duper plumber. Just made a coupling into a slip coupling. I'm just, you know, enjoying life right now. Bish bosh bash. Now, this wasn't exactly how I planned to do it. My main plan was to try and get a 4-inch reducer and then just get a boss putting straight into it, but the bosses that I was getting were struggling a little bit because it's hard to actually really get the right size boss to go into the reducer. For some reason they either become a bit like 55 or they're just over 2-inch. Sometimes just like a bit under 2-inch. So I'm only gonna get was a bit push fit one. So again, just glue the shit out of it. An old boy once said, glue is cheap, leaks are expensive, and I did not want a leak here. So I get a leak here, I've literally got to put it all back. Now don't get me wrong, that reducer, I could have probably cut it down by a couple of inches. If it was on show, I definitely would. But here, I didn't really give a shit, to be honest with you. Now the coupling, it was going on at an off-centre angle. and the right hand nut was actually right where the timber was. So I kind of got that one on first. I'm trying to just feel it onto this left hand one, and right now I'm thinking, fucking hell, it's not going to go, it's too pissed. It's not going to have it. I'm fucked. The glue's set. I should have cut it down some more. Made mince knife a little bit longer. And it's all doom and gloom. At this point, I'm literally just like, oh, is it going to go? Yeah, in the end, I managed to get it on. I left it for a good 10-15 minutes. We'll sort out the boiler. I mean, look at that. 24 bloody litre expansion vessel on 4 radiators. Unvented, that's maybe, I don't know, 170 litres. Fuck knows why they put it in there. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can never go too big, you know, but there is like a limit. So yeah, I'm just trying to pull the PRV. I mean, I'm going to be doing work here anyway, so I don't give a shit about pulling the PRV. I know some people say never ever pull it. If it's in access, pull it. Worst case scenario, clean it out, put it back on. So yeah, I'm just getting it undone. Now, this bit was, it started pissing out water for some reason, so I grabbed the fucking kid's bucket off the bath. And I was like, why is all the water going on the floor? The fucking bucket had a massive crack in it, of course it did. So yeah, the bucket didn't really do much, to be honest with you. And the outlet from the PRV actually seemed to airlock for some reason. It's a bit weird, but yeah, it had like a little bit of water on the floor there, but it's not too bad. Just trying to get any tape or any PTFE there. I've put my new little vessel, perfectly sized for the system. Now, don't get me wrong, it is perfectly sized for this system. You know, big as always, better in a way, but you know, there's no need to go big if you don't need to. And obviously here, you know, there's no space. You know, if I try and get one underneath the boiler in the cylinder, I'm going to have to like, have it mounted like horizontally and probably fucking strapped to the cylinder. There's no wall space there. So, you know, it just is what it is. But this is a good point when it's good to know about expansion vessels and sizing and heating systems, stuff like that. So you know exactly what you can get away with and what you can't. So I put it on there. It was still just offset a little bit off the wall too much. But it was good enough. And I think that's down with just the heat and the running. I think it increased by about half a bar. It's perfectly fine. It's about where you want it to be. So yeah, I managed to get the case back on. Don't get me wrong, something like that, I'm like, oh fucking hell, you can't get the case off. But you can get it off and you can get it on. There's a little bit of a knack to it, but it definitely can be done. So yeah, that's me turning it all on. Funny thing was, when I was leaving, a couple of hours later, I thought, fucking hell, it's hot in here. And I'd left the heating zone valve in the manually open position. I had the fucking hot water on dinner. And obviously that was blasting around the heating circuit, so I'm glad that I noticed that before I left, otherwise that would have been quite an expensive callback. Yeah, that wasn't too bad a job actually. It's quite a nice job. It's always quite a nice job when you go in and change something that you know could be like smaller or more efficient and still work. I've got no idea why they fitted that vessel. I mean, even if they assumed that the whole house was on that boiler, they still wouldn't have fitted a vessel of that size. So God knows what it was. Yes, that's just kind of it now up and running. If you like these videos, please subscribe, like it, love it, all that good kind of stuff. So now we're just going to carry out the boiler service. Obviously I've done my air integrity. I've done a brief little scan around the boiler. Everything looks alright. So yeah, just analysing it with the case off. Then I'll pop the case back on. And then analyse it again. So at this point I'm just like, fucking hell, the reading just started going up a little bit. Negative pressure, looking alright. Obviously it's lacking a bit of air for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. It's just building up CO2 and the ratio and all that lot. Anyway, yeah, they'll just kind of strip it down a little bit and give it a clean out, and fuck knows how, but it seemed to work perfectly fine. I'm not quite sure why it would be. I'm not that technical yet. I mean, I'm assuming maybe it's the baffles or something that are getting restricted, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah, it just kept really going up and going up. So yeah, now I'm just going to test out the inlet. I mean, to be honest with you, the first thing they're doing a boiler service, obviously, whenever I do a boiler service, I'm always thinking, right, come in here, turn it off, make it safe, I'm going out. So I'm looking at analysing it, fluid issues, bad installation issues, gas pressures, your working pressures, all that kind of stuff. There's no point going too crazy on it and then realising actually you've got like the low working pressure. There's no point doing all them tests and realising the fucking flue's running upside down and back to front. So you've got to go with the major points first and then kind of just work back from there really. So yeah, it's giving it a little rip out, obviously grab hold of the clip, pull it out, give the gas tube a good old bloody wiggle. Just basically me undoing it a little bit. Just going to skip through it a bit, yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Getting back in there. Obviously check out that flow, that plastic bit there at the back. Make sure that's all good. You burn the seal back on that. So yeah, it's just it really going back together. As I said before, obviously you should be putting this stuff on before you're actually fitting the fan back in, really, to make it like a little bit easier for you. Because it can be a little bit awkward. And then last but not least, clean out the condense. Now yeah, I've got a drill. Every time I see a fucking drill next to the board, it scares the shit out of me because most people don't know what they're doing. Undo them, yeah, maybe tighten them, but do not tighten them up with a fucking drill. The amount of plastic PCB chassis that I've seen just cremated by drills is unbelievable. So yeah, obviously your last job, as always, clean out the condense. I think with any boiler breakdown, actually, first job check the condense, last job clean the condense. So yeah, that's it really. Obviously it was a little bit dirty. It was a little bit dirty before, and obviously I had to clean out the main heat, so I just didn't show it. But yeah, that was it. 24 litre to I think an 8 litre. And that's done the job. Thanks for watching. If you like it, subscribe, comment.